And here you can see the application is working absolutely fine. I am already connected. So what I will do, I will first log out from the application to show you that everything is working fine. You can see I'm not connected. It will open the MetaMask. I can simply pass my credential. And here I'm connected. I got the address. If you come back here in the application, you will find all the information. So right now there is no token available for sale and there is no balance of token in our ICO contract. So we have to transfer the token to our ICO contract. So it will reflect here and user can start buying. Now I can come back here and I'm going to simply call this one. So click on this transfer token. It's going to open the MetaMask. Here you can see transaction. We have this loader and we have to simply click on this confirm. And it's going to transfer the token to our ICO contract. So here the transaction went through. If you come back here, you will find the details. So right now the token available for ICO is 1000. So now anybody can buy your token. So this is how you can transfer. Now the user can start buying your token. So let me go back and let me switch my account. Even you can buy your token. There is no problem. So once you are here, click on this buy token now. It will take you to this section and now you are ready to buy the token. So first thing, you have to define the number of token you want to buy. So I'll go with 500 and I click on this buy token. Click on this. It's going to take the process and here we have our MetaMask. You can see we are paying this much fund for 500 token because our price is 0.05. So click on this confirm. It's going to make the transaction and the transaction is successfully and we have bought the token. And here you can see we got 25% here because we have bought 500 token. This is what we have coded in our entire ICO project. So I hope you guys have watched the complete project. We got an amazing response from many students. So make sure to follow the complete project. You will understand every single architecture we have designed for this particular project and how we have built the smart contract. In this video, we're going to do a couple of updates and I'm going to take you through this. So if you want to do any modification as per your end, you can do that very easily. So this is what we have coded. Let me give you a quick walkthrough of the folder and file structure and the code we have written. So what I'm going to do is, so once you will take the final source code, this is the zip file you will get. Make sure to unzip that and you will get this folder, and that folder you have to open in your VS Code, and this is what exactly you will get. So this is the name we have called to our folder, ICO Token Sell. In that you will have all the folders and files. So let me give you a quick walkthrough that what exactly we have coded together in the project. So we have the component. In that we have coded all of this component. So token sell, line, teams, mobile, loader, and here we are importing all the component which we have built and exporting so we can utilize in our application. We have footer, FAQ, distribution, contact. That's all we have coded together. This is the component section. Now come back to the context, and here we are doing all the magic. So the very first file we have is this context.js, and here we are doing the important configuration of our application. So first thing, we are getting the ABI of our two contracts. So in the project we have written two contracts, one for our token sale and one for our ICO, and that's the ABI we are simply importing here. So this is the token contract and here we have the ICO. Here we are providing the owner address because certain functionality which we have in our contract, we want to restrict that to only owner, not anybody else. So here we have the owner of the contract, and this is the address of Hardhat. So first we're going to test our contract using Hardhat, and this is the account by default Hardhat will use for deploying your contract. So that's what I have taken here. You can simply replace with your address. Then we have the address of the token and the ABI, and here we have the address and ABI of our token sell contract. And here I have done the network configuration because as you all know that Polygon is depreciated. So if you want to test your application locally, then you can do that. If you want to deploy to any network, you can do that. So here I have done all the configuration. So this is the Polygon MOI. So this is the network I'm going to use for deployment on the test network. Because Polygon Mumbai is depreciated, so we cannot use that. If you want to deploy on Polygon, you can simply use it. All you have to do is to simply pass this name in our function, which I will show you. If you want to use any blockchain like Binance, so this is the Binance configuration, and this is the exact information you have to provide no matter which network you want to deploy. So you have to give the chain ID. That's the chain ID you have to pass here. You have to give the name, and this name going to reflect in the MetaMask. In the native currency, you have to pass the name, symbol, and decimal point, and here you have to provide the RPC URL of that particular blockchain. And I have already made a tons of video. In this video I have explained that how you can get the RPC URL for a specific blockchain, and here you can provide the URL of the block explorer. So this one is for the Binance, this one is for Binance mainnet, and here we have the Binance Sofali, and here we have the localhost. So I have already done the configuration for the localhost. So if someone don't have this configuration in their MetaMask for the localhost, so our application is automatically going to configure it and the user will not have any issue. So this is the chain ID we have provided, the currency, because you cannot use the ETH currency when you are testing locally. using Hardhat, because that's the change the Hardhat done in the MetaMask. So you cannot use that. And this is a RPC URL for the localhost. So we're going to test first on the localhost. So if you want to test on localhost, that's all you have to do is to come back here, and here you have to provide. No matter which network you are testing, all you have to do is to copy the name, and that's what you have to provide. So if you have any specific blockchain, make sure to create the exactly same object and provide all of this information about that specific blockchain, and you can simply copy the name, and that's what you will provide. So once you will do that, it will automatically connect with that particular blockchain. So your application will not have any issue, and the rest will be fine. You don't need to do anything. So first thing what we have to do is we have to get the address of our token sell contract and token contract, because this project is different. It's not just like a regular one where you can able to import any token. Here we are creating our token, and that's the token we are listing for ICO. So make sure to follow the complete project for a better understanding of the architecture we have implemented. So I'm going to simply close this one, and now I will take you back to the contract because I have done a little bit changes in our contract. So this is the token contract we have. So we have name, symbol, standard, supply, honor, and ID, and that's all you can able to find. That's all we have coded together in the project. That's a huge contract. It's a custom token we have created, but the actual magic is happening here in the token sell contract. In that I have done a little bit changes. So earlier what we did in our ICO project, that whenever someone's taking our token, whenever someone is buying our token, we are keeping the fund within the contract. But this time we have changed that logic. So we're going to simply transfer the fund to the admin of the contract. So whenever someone will buy the token, the fund will be transferred to the admin, the one who will deploy the contract. So that's the changes I have done. And here I have taken extra variable called total supply, and here I have added this extra function called update token supply. So you can simply update that how many token you want to make it available on the ICO, so the user can know that this much token is available for ICO sell. And that's the exact thing we have here. We are simply transferring the fund when we want to destroy this particular contract. So it's pretty good. Make sure to follow the complete project. Simply close this one. This is the contract. Now come back to the pages. So this is the page. Here we have done the net context configuration we have done. It's pretty easy, pretty simple. Come back to the index. Here we have imported React. We got all our components from our index. Then we are using the context, and here we are simply importing all the function we have coded together in our index.js. So this is where we are building all the logic. So we are using this library, we are importing some of the important function from utility, which we have here, which I will show you. Then we are getting the address of owner, and we are getting the token sell address. So that's what we have. And here we have some notification, because when someone will buy, when someone will make any transaction, we have to display the message. So that's the notification we have. And here we have taken all the states, and here we have the most important function which will fetch all the information about the contract. So you can see this is the address. Here we are getting the balance, we have getting the token contract, we are checking the balance, then we are getting all the information about the token, and that's what we are storing as a native token, which I have explained extensively in the project. And here we have this getting token holder. So how many users are holding our token, that information is coming here. Then we have this particular one, token holder data. So we are getting the token holder data individually, and that's what we are setting as a current holder, all this information. And here we have the token sell contract. So now we have to get the information about the token sell contract, that how much token is available, what is the price of the token, what is the token sold number, what is the token supply. That's all we are getting here. And we are checking the balance of our token sell contract. So you can see this is the address of our token sell contract, which we have here, token sell contract. So I'm simply exporting and importing here, and that's what I have to pass into our token contract. So this one is a different contract, token sell contract, and this one is token contract. So it's going to give us the balance, that how much fund this token sell contract had of this particular token, and that's what we are creating as an object, and that's what we are setting. So this one is an important function which fetch all the information about our token. So simply close this one, and we are calling that function. And here we have the buy function, so anybody can buy our token. So here we are setting the stage, then we are taking the amount, that how much token the user wants to buy, we are converting it, and that's the amount we are passing into our contract. So the token will be transferred to that particular user, and we'll get our fund, and that's the amount we are charging. Because the price of our one token is 1 ether, you can charge any amount and set price anything to your token. So this is our buy function, pretty simple. Then we have our next function called transfer native token. This particular function will transfer the token to our ICO contract, because first it will create the token, then if we want to sell our token, we have to transfer the token to our ICO. So the balance would be available and anybody can buy. So this is the function we have which allow the owner. So this particular function can only call by the owner of the contract. So he can call it and he can transfer the fund. So I'm going with the hardcore data. You can transfer any amount. So I'm transferring 1000 token to our token sell contract. So you have to provide the token sell contract address and call the transfer. So it's going to transfer the token, which I will show you how it's work. Close this one, and here we have the update token supply. So the reason why I have included this particular extra functionality, because sometime your token got sold and you want to sell more, so you can transfer more token and you can simply update the supply, so the selling process will start again. So this is a very good feature I have included. This one is the update one, and this particular function can only call by the owner of the contract, and that's the condition we have here. So this is the entire functionality we have built here in index.js file. So let's close this one, and here we have the contract. Close this one, we have the pages. Here we have all the component which we have passed. So this is our loader I have added. Here we have the token supply, and here we have the stoop function. You can only call by the owner of the contract. So once he call and set the function, it can simply comment this out, because this function is not visible to the other users. So I'm going to simply close this one. Now come back to the public. You don't need to make any changes because we are using multiple library. That's the CSS file. We have all this, so that's all you will find here. So you don't need to make any changes unless you know how to do it. Then we have the script, and here we are doing all the deployment of our contract. So here we have this particular function which will convert our token or price into way, which we have to pass into our contract. So the initial supply I'm setting for my token. So when I will run this particular script, it's going to first deploy our token contract. So I'm going with this much supply. You can increase to any supply, and that's what we are simply passing here in our token contract, because if you see in the token contract, we have to provide the supply. So if I come back here in the construction, we have to provide the owner. So the one who will deploy the contract become the owner of the token, and we are simply initializing the supply balance to that owner, and we are increasing the initial supply, and that's what exactly we have to provide here. So we have to provide how much supply we want to have to our token, and that's what we are providing. So once it will deploy successfully, it's going to give you the address of our token. After that, once our token is deployed successfully and we got the address, because we need the address which we have to pass into our token sell contract. So here I'm setting up the price. So the total supply I want to have of my token as an ICO is 1000. You can increase it to any number. You can see that the total number of token we are creating is 5 lakh, more than that, but I'm putting the token for a sell is only 1000. You can increase this to any number, there is no problem. And I am setting up the price of my token is to 1 ether equal to 1 token, but you can go with any number. If you want to go with something less like 0.05, you can charge this much fund as well for your token. So let's go with that. And here we have this. Simply we are passing all of this information into our token sell contract, because if you come back here, that's what we have to provide in our constructor. So this is the admin, and we are getting the token address, we are getting the token price, and we are getting the total token supply, and that's what we are simply updating here. So these are the important information we have to provide, and after that, if we run the command, it's going to give us the address of our token sell contract. And here we have these two commands. So if you want to deploy on Polygon MOI, which we're going to do on the test network, and here we have the localhost script for deployment. So this is our script. Close this one, and here we have the style which we have seen. Here we have the test. So if you want to do the testing locally and writing some test, you can do that. And here we have the utils. In that we have built some utility function, some ABI. This is the current wallet function, and in that you can see I'm calling this particular handle network switch. This is the function we have built here in the context. So if I come back here, we have this one. So it will automatically, whenever someone's try to connect with the wallet, it will automatically check for the network connection, that which network the user is currently connected. If it's connected with the localhost, so it will be just go continue. So if the user is connected with a different network, it's going to switch the network. So that's the changes I have done. So these are the basic thing. Looks good. And here we have the Hardhat addresses. So this is all the Hardhat addresses which you can use to import in your MetaMask. So if you want to import any Hardhat accounts, you can simply get the private key and import, which I will show you how you can do that. I have given you all the addresses which Hardhat will give you to do the testing, and each account will have 10,000 ether, which you can use to test. And here I have this Hardhat config file. In that you will see, first we're going to test using Hardhat. After that we're going to test on Polygon. So when you deploy on Polygon, you have to get your private key and make sure you need to have some fund in that. You can literally deploy to any network. So if you want to deploy to any Binance or Arbitrum, all you have to do is to get the RPC URL of that particular network, and you have to give the name. You can call whatever you want, and this is the exact name you have to call here in the script. So that's the name you have called. So make sure you have to give the exact name in your script. So looks good. Got it? Now what I'm going to do is, so this is what we have coded in the entire project. So make sure to follow this complete one. Now come back. If you want to run this project, there are a couple of requirements you need to have in your system. So first, you have to check your node version, because Hardhat is not compatible with the latest node version. So right now you will see that we are using this particular version of Hardhat, and this particular version Hardhat is compatible with specific node version. If you go with the latest one, it will not work. So first you have to check your node version. So currently I'm using this node-v. So you have to install this particular node version, and you have to also check your npm version. Type npm-v, and these are the two requirements you need to have. If you have any other version, it's going to create a problem and Hardhat will not work, because Hardhat, they haven't updated their package yet. But I'm using this Hardhat because I have a couple of clients. I'm just doing the testing of the contract, so I have to use it. So you can use this exact version if you really want to use Hardhat in your project, which is must. So this is the first two requirement. Once you have these two, after that we have to simply install the packages. So we have so many packages, let's install that one by one. So let's install that. So simply type npm-i and hit enter. It's going to install all of the packages, and you can see we got this node modules folder. In that we're going to have all this dependency which we are using. So just wait, this process will take a little bit time, and the downloading and installation will happen very quickly. You can see we have installed the entire packages successfully and we are having no issue. Make sure you should avoid this particular command. Don't run this one, because a lot of packages got an updated version and it's telling you to simply upgrade, but we don't want to use it because the application we have configured based on this particular version. So simply ignore this particular command. Once you're done with that installation, simply clear your terminal. Now we have to test our contract locally. So we're going to use Hardhat for testing our contract. So this is the particular command you have to write. Type npx Hardhat node. This will start the local node in your system and it will give you 20 plus account. So we can simply deploy our contract locally and do the testing. So it will give you 20 plus account, and each account will have 10,000 fake ETH. So that's the accounts which I have provided here. So this is the exact account which I have provided here, and by default Hardhat will take you this very first account 0, this very first account for deploying your contract. By default it will take this one, and that's the configuration I have done here in the context file. So you can see here we have this 2266 and 2266 because it's going to be the owner of the contract. So make sure you have to keep this running. Once it's running, now you have to simply run the deploy script. So come back here in the script deploy, and here we have this two script. So we are testing locally, so simply copy this one and come here, paste and hit enter. It's going to simply compile the contract and it's going to give you the address. So when it will compile successfully, it's going to give you this artifact. Inside the artifact you will have this contract. Inside the contract we'll have the ABI of the both the contract, and this is the old one. So I'm going to simply delete the old one, because whenever you deploy your contract or make any changes in your contract, even a symbol, you have to provide the updated ABI, because the ABI will change. So simply drag and drop this one, token cell. Then we have to simply get this one and drag and drop here. So we got our ABI. We got the ABI of both the contract, like token contract and token cell contract. So this is the first thing. Once we're done with that, now we have to come back here in the context and we have to replace the addresses. So in your case, when you will run this command, you will get the same address, because by default Hardhat will always generate the same address for your very first contract, and this is the second contract. So you will also have the same address. So all you have to do is to simply copy this one, and that's what you have to provide. Anyway, we are getting the same address. That's what you have to provide. And here we have the second one, which is also the same, 512. And this is the exact address you will also get when you will run this particular code. So our contract is deployed successfully. Our chain is running. Now we can start our application. So simply type npm run dev, and this will start our application on localhost 3000. Now you can simply come back to the browser click here, and I have already set my localhost here, so I'm going to click here, but you can simply copy localhost from here. So if you come back in this, you can able to find the localhost here as well. So you can simply copy from there. You can simply copy this and you can open your browser, but I already have this setup, and here you can see the application is working absolutely fine. I am already connected. So let me log out with the application. Right now I'm account number 4, and this is the Hardhat account. So if I open my MetaMask, you will see that these are my 2 real accounts, and all of these accounts are Hardhat account, and by default Hardhat will use this particular account. You can see 92266, and it has less fund because this is the account we have used for deploying our contract locally. That's why it's less fund. So make sure when you are testing your contract locally, you have to clear your MetaMask history. So what I will do, I will first log out from the application to show you that everything is working fine. You can see I'm not connected. It will open the MetaMask. I can simply pass my credential, and here I'm connected. It will reload, and here I'm connected with the application. I got the address. If you come back here in the application, you will find all the information. So right now there is no token available for sale, and there is no balance of token in our ICO contract. So we have to transfer the token to our ICO contract, so it will reflect here and user can start buying. And here you will see, here we have this particular function called token transfer, and this is for you only. This is for only you. So once you transfer the token, make sure you have to comment this. I'm going to do that. So this is the setup we have done. Now let me show you one more thing, because we have done the network configuration. You can see here we have done the network configuration for the localhost. But what if the user who is using your application doesn't have this localhost? Maybe in your case you are testing it and you don't have this localhost set up in your MetaMask. So how are you going to deal with that? So let me show you how you can deal with that. So make sure I'm deleting this localhost from my MetaMask. So right now I don't have this localhost in my MetaMask, but our contract we have deployed locally and testing on localhost. So there are 2 ways to do the configuration. You can simply click here, go to the add network, and here you can provide all of these details manually. You can see all of this detail manually. So click on this add network, come back here, and here you can provide all of this detail manually, which we have already configured here. So you can come back here, you can provide the chain ID, localhost name, and all of the symbol and the RPC URL and explore manually. So you can provide it manually and you can save it. This is the one way, but we are doing in more advanced way. So what I will do, the moment I will reload the page, the user will reload the page, it's going to open this one and it's going to automatically configure these details in our MetaMask, so the user don't need to fulfill this manually. So click on this approve, and it will automatically switch the network to localhost, because that's what we have provided. Click on switch to network, and here we are on the localhost connected. So if you open up the MetaMask, you will see that we are connected with the localhost. It's working fine. Now before we make the transaction, we have to clear the history of our MetaMask, because this is the weird problem we have in the MetaMask. So when you are testing and switching your account, make sure to always clear your MetaMask history, then the transaction will take place, otherwise the transaction will fail. So this is the setup. Now we have to transfer the token to our contract, and right now the available supply we have mentioned at the time of deployment of the contract is 1000. So let's go with 1000. Okay, let's transfer 1000 token to this. So if I come back here, I'm going to close this one, and here I have this particular function called transfer native token. This is the token which user is going to buy, so only owner of the contract can transfer it, and here I'm passing 1000. You can transfer any token. Make sure you have the fund available, because the total supply of the token we have is 5 lakhs, so you cannot go more than that, and you have to check the balance of your account, because when you will deploy the contract, you will be the owner and the token will be transferred to your wallet address. So that's the condition we have applied. So I'm going to transfer 1000, or you can transfer more, there is no problem. So this is the function I have to call. So if I come back here in the banner, here I have attached this particular function. So here I have this 2 function. You can simply, after transferring and updating the token, you can simply comment this one, because this particular function is only for you, not for anybody else. So I have to simply call this particular function which we are calling. Now I can come back here and I'm going to simply call this one. So click on this transfer token. It's going to open the MetaMask. Here you can see transaction, we have this loader, and we have to simply click on this confirm, and it's going to transfer the token to our ICO contract. So here the transaction went through. You can open the MetaMask and you can see the transaction successfully. If you come back here, you will find the details. So right now the token available for ICO is 1000. There is no sell. The sell is 0 and the percentage is also 0, you can see. So now anybody can buy your token. So this is how you can transfer. If you want to transfer more token, you can simply do that. So click on this transfer. It's going to transfer more token. So let's call this one an update, and here the token is successfully transferred, and you will see the fund will reflect here. So right now we have 2000 token for ICO in our ICO contract. So we have to also call the update function. We have to also call this update function because we have transferred the token. If I simply bring this function back, and if I take you back to the context, you will see that we are doing simple update. So if I come back to the context, here you can see here we have this update function. So what I'm doing here, I'm getting the previous token supply. So what is the supply at the time of deployment we have defined, and then I'm simply adding 10,000 more because that's the token we have supply. You can simply update it to any number. And the reason why I have taken this particular variable, because here we have to calculate the percentage, and that's what we have to reflect in the progress bar and in the supply. So only for that purpose I have taken this. So we have to call this function as well, update token supply, so which we have here. So simply save it, come back to the application, and now we can simply click on this. You can change the name. Like you can see I have given the same name, so I'm simply calling it. Click on this. Now it's going to simply call the update function. Here we have this update supply, calling it. Now confirm this one, and the transaction is completed. If you come back here, the data is changed. So right now the updated supply is 2000. Now the user can start buying your token. So let me go back and let me switch my account. Even you can buy your token, there is no problem. So now let's try to buy the token. So first we have to clear our MetaMask history because we have changed our account. So click on the setting, advanced, and clear activity tab. Reload the page, and this is what we will get. So once you are here, click on this buy token now. It will take you to this section, and now you are ready to buy the token. So first thing, you have to define the number of token you want to buy. So I'll go with 500, and I click on this buy token. Click on this. It's going to take the process, and here we have our MetaMask. You can see we are paying this much fund for 500 token because our price is 0.05. So click on this confirm. It's going to make the transaction, and the transaction is successfully, and we have bought the token. And here you can see we got 25% here because we have bought 500 token and total supply was 2000. So right now the available token is 500. It's 500 sold, and that's the progress bar is getting up. And if I come back here in my account number 3, you will see the fund is transferred successfully. So right now we have this 24. Earlier it was less, now we have high. We can even buy our own token if you want. So simply reload the page, and let's try to buy the token. I can simply come back here. This time I want to buy 100 token. Click on this buy token. Is going to open the transaction model, and you have to simply confirm the transaction. So click on this confirm, and the transaction is completed. So this is how you have bought the token, and here the percentage is getting up. So every single data is dynamic. So one thing you have to keep in mind that you have to transfer the token, update the supply, the number of token you have transferred. You have to simply update the same amount of token in the supply, and the transaction will be fine. So this is how exactly it's going to work. So we have built this beautiful application in this complete project. I would encourage you to come and simply work on this. So this is what we have. And sometime what happened when you are doing this transaction, sometime maybe the transaction is failed. Right now in my case it's not happening, but sometime MetaMask failed to calculate the gas limit. So in that scenario you can come back here. So this is the buy function. All you have to do is to set the gas limit here, the limit here. So simply paste the gas limit. So this is the gas limit we are providing, and not every time you will have this error, but sometime in case if you are facing this issue, simply provide this one. Come back here, reload the page, and if I try to buy the token, let's see what is happening. So I want to buy 50 more token. Click on this buy token, and it's going to make the transaction, and you can see I'm saying confirm. Click on confirm. The transaction completed successfully, and this will go up to 28%. But I don't want to give this hardcode gas limit because in my case it's working fine. So I'm going to simply commit this one. So make sure to check this out. So that's how we can test our application using Hardhat and deploy our contract locally. Now let me show you that how you can deploy your contract on a Polygon test network. So first I'm going to simply minimize this one, and I'm going to open up my terminal. So here the application is keep running. I'm going to simply stop that. Let's clear it up, and let's stop this one as well. So I'm going to delete this one. So now we have to deploy our contract to Polygon test network. So there are a few changes we have to do in our code base. So first thing we have to do is come back here in the constants, and here we have to change the network. So we tested locally, so we provided this, but now we are testing on Polygon, so we have to provide this one. Mumbai is not working. If you want to deploy on the mainnet, you can simply go with that, but I'm going to do on the test network. Simply copy this one, and that's what you have to provide. So this is the first change you have to do. Once you're done with that, simply close this one. Now I would suggest you to simply delete this artifact. Anyway, delete this one and delete this one. You can simply come back to the context, delete the ABI, delete the token, and if you come back to the contract, you can literally call any, you can change all of this data. So this is what I have called to my contract. You can give your token name. In the same way, you can do all the changes, and that's the updated ABI you have to provide. So you can do all the changes. So that's the few thing. Now we have to do the configuration in our Hardhat config file for the deployment. So here you can see, here we have this one. So first you have to comment this one, and you have to bring this back because we are deploying to Polygon. And here you have to provide your wallet private key which you want to use for deploying of the contract. This is the RPC endpoint for the Polygon test network. So I have to get my private key of my wallet. So what I will do, I'll simply save it. I can come back to the browser. This is what we have. Now we can come back here, click on the MetaMask, and this time I'm going to switch my network. So this is the network which I'm going to use it. So click on that, and I have to go back to my real account. So these are the two. One is the real account. So if I click on this account number 2, I have enough fund for deployment of the contract. Or I can go to my first account. In that I can see that I have very less fund. So in your case, if you don't have fund in your Polygon test network, you can simply get it for free. So you can come back, open a new tab, and type Polygon faucet, click on the very first link, and it will take you to this particular website which allow you to claim free faucet. So just wait, it's loading. So you will come here, and now you have to join their Discord server. So it's a two-step process. First you have to authorize your Discord. After that you have to join the Discord server, then it will redirect here, and I have already done that, so I will not get that option. So click on this connect to Discord to get token, and it's going to get me here on the Discord server, and here I have to authorize. So click on this authorize, and now it will take me back to the same place. Here I am. So here I'm redirected, and here I got this option. So when you will do it for the very first time, it will ask you second time to join the Discord community. After that it will redirect here. So I have this option, so I have to select the network. So this is the network which I'm using. The currency would be same. Come back here, I have to pick the wallet address. So I'm going to transfer the fund to this one, and this is the account I'm going to use for deployment. So simply copy this one and paste here, and click on submit. It's going to transfer this much fund to your wallet address. So click on this confirm. So this process takes a little bit time. The transaction is successfully done, and the fund is reflecting here. So we got that fund. In your case, you will get the fund exactly in the same way. So we got the fund. Now we have to get the private key of this particular account, which we can provide in our code. So to get a private key, click here, go to the account details. Here you have to click on the show private key, and here you have to provide your password, and hit enter, and press hold, and simply copy this, and that's what you have to provide, and done. So I have copied my private key. Now I can come back here, and here I have to provide the private key. So in your case, you have to provide your key. I'm going to provide mine, and this is the exact configuration you have to do for any network. So right now I'm testing on Polygon, but if you want to do on any other network, make sure to provide the RPC URL, and make sure you have to have a fund in your wallet address which you want to use for deployment, and it will work fine. So let me quickly replace. So I successfully added my private key. So I'm going to simply close that one. Now I'm ready to deploy my contract. So click on this deploy, and this time we have to run this particular command. Remember, this is the name we have given in our Hardhat config file. So copy this one, open up your terminal, and this time we don't need to run our local node because we are using Hardhat for deployment, but we are not testing locally. So we can simply paste here. So this is the entire script. Now hit enter. It's going to deploy our contract. So first it will compile. Here we got the artifact. Inside the artifact we have the contract, and this is the token, and this is the token ICO. This process takes a little bit time because we are doing actually on the test network, so it takes time. So we can simply take this one, and we can drag and drop in our context. We can do the same thing with the token, drag and drop here. So we got the ABI. Now you can simply close this one, and now we have to wait. Once this deployment will complete, it's going to give us the address which we have to provide here in the constants. So just wait, it's deploying. The reason why it's taking a little bit time because we have two contracts to deploy, And here I'm going to replace the address because this time I'm using this particular account. So simply copy this one, and that's what I have to replace here. So I'll say address. So I have replaced the owner address and save it. It's taking a little bit time, so I'm going to wait. Once the deployment will complete, we'll have our address, and that's what we're going to simply provide here in the token place, and this is the ICO place. So right now you can see it's taking a little bit time. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stop the deployment, and I have to restart the deployment process because we have multiple contracts. That's why it's taking a little bit time. So I have stopped that. Now I'm going to simply redeploy the contract. This is the same command I have. I have to hit enter and just wait. Hope this time the deployment will happen. Sometimes it takes time depending on the time which you are deploying. So maybe the network is busy, too busy, so it takes time. Here you can see we got the very first token address. Here we got the second contract address. So we got the token address and we got our token sell address. So we got that one, and that's what we have to provide here. So I'm going to simply drag it here, and you will see that this is the address of our token. So simply copy this one, and that's what I'm going to simply provide here. So token 1, and here we have our ICO token sell, and that's what I have to provide. Got it? So we have replaced the token sell address and token address, and that's the only thing we have to do. Now if I simply clear my terminal, and if I start the application npm run dev, hit enter, our application is working absolutely fine. Here we have this. Simply copy this one. You can come back in the browser. Let me close this one, and here we have this one. I can simply close this one and open a new tab and paste here and hit enter. You can see it will open up and it will automatically change our network. So if I click on this connect, it will open and it will change our network. So right now it didn't change because we are already connected with Polygon. But what if the user is not connected with the Polygon and it doesn't have Polygon? So it will automatically reconfigure the way it's done with the test network. So here I have deleted. If I reload the page, it's going to open and it's going to simply open this model and it will configure the Polygon MOI network. So click on this approve. It will allow us to switch, and here we are connected. So we got it. If we come back here, we got our Polygon right up here, and this is the owner of our contract. You can see the fund went down very less because we have used a lot of fund for deployment of the contract. So if I come back here, I can simply go back to my code base, and I have to do exactly the same thing which I have done. So if I go back to my banner, bring this function back, and I have to simply transfer the token. So I have to transfer 1000 token. So I can come here, reload the page. Now I'll simply call this one transfer token, and here it's making the transaction. So it will open our MetaMask, and this time we are doing the transaction on the Polygon test network. So click on confirm, and here you will see the transaction is in the pending state, and we have our loader which is up and running. So once the transaction will complete, it will reload the page and the token will be transferred successfully to our ICO contract. So we have successfully transferred the token into our ICO contract. So if you come back here, you can see and here you can see we got our data. So this much token is available in ICO contract, and there is no token sold so far. This data takes a little bit time because this time we are actually interacting with the test network. Now I'm going to switch my account. So I'll go back to my account 2. I'll clear my history, and now I'm ready to buy token. So let's come back here. So I want to buy very less. I want to buy only 1 token because this time I'm going to spend my real test Meti, and I don't have much, and these days it's very hard to get test Meti. So I'm going to buy only 1 to show you. Click on this buy, and it's going to open this, and this fund will be transferred straight away to our owner. So here we are paying this much. Now we can simply say confirm, and the transaction is in pending mode. You will see this fund will go up to 1, and here we have this sign, and we have this failed message. So sometime the transaction will complete, but the MetaMask will tell you the transaction is failed. So you should always double check. So click here, go to the block explorer, and there you will find the detail. So let's see. You can see, as I told you now, sometime MetaMask failed to pick that count. The token transfers successfully. successfully we have transferred the token. If you come back here and if you reload the page, you will see that MetaMask still reflecting that transaction is failed, but the transaction is successful. You can able to find the details. So here it's taking a little bit time, and here we got the data. So 9999, and we have bought one token, and it's something like 0.1%. So you should always double check when you are doing the transaction. So that's how you can deploy your contract to the actual test network. So this is what exactly we have built in this complete project. So I would suggest you that come back, simply download the starter file. So come back to the blockchain coder, go to the source code section. Here you will find all the project we have built on the channel. So make sure to click on this ICO launch, click here, starter file. So click here and you can simply start following the tutorial. So every single thing is explained. So make sure to download the starter file, and this is what we built and this is how it's going to look. So once you transfer the token, make sure to comment this one, because I don't want to expose this to on the front end. So what I will do, this is the entire div. No, this is the button we have. This is the button. You can simply bring this back and you just comment this, because this is not what we want to display. Save it and it's gone. Looks pretty good. This is also getting dynamic. It's updating successfully. So this is what we have built in the project. If you have any question, any doubt, do let me know in the comment section. I'll try to give you an update on that. With that, I'm ending this video. Have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.